Dear everyone, today I've picked up this topic as to why India has been underranked as still a developing country, while actually it was the richest country in the world before the British colonization. And I think it's very crucial to know about our nation's achievements, especially for this generation, and they have to know that the outside world has many misconceptions about we Indians. Like one among them is that we deserve only to be ruled and that we are incapable of ruling anybody. But that's because we don't know to subdue others. Only those who are dominant can rule over others. And how can we Indians, whose nature is submissiveness, despotically capture others' territories and rule over them? Also, this we have quite often heard or experienced or even read about it, that Indians outside of our country are by large disrespected. But anyway, in recent years, this trend is positively altering too. Like most foreign countries do respect Indians, but some countries, along with our neighboring countries, they have a lot negative opinions on Indians. And among this, Hong Kong is considered too anonymous for Indians to live there. Anyway, all Chinese dominant lands are against Indians. But see, Hong Kong was itself a British colony until very recently. And how do they comment on Indians not protesting the British? We anyway did that for years to get independence. Let them go through our history. But to understand an Indian, you too must think like an Indian, or otherwise you will most likely misunderstand us. See, throughout history, India has continuously been invaded, been tyrannically ruled, and has faced insurmountable torture at the hands of all those murderous intruders. Also, we have been looted of all our precious cultural artifacts, robbed of all our rich possessions. Still, we never ever tried to forcibly invade or to capture others' land. But only we kept on resisting their onslaught and we continuously struggled for our independence. You know about those Islamic invasions and rulings which they proclaimed that it had been continued for about 800 long years? But the actual fact is it's about 300 years, but whatever. Their main mission of invasion was to bring the entire India under their Islamic fold. But still, we have to be proud that in spite of all those multiple invasions and rulings, we are still sticking on to our ancient cultural and spiritual roots. But anyway, some radical changes here and there are noted because of the Western influence on us. If only the British had not disturbed our ancient educational system, we would have always remained the most glorious culture ever. The British instigated their education and in turn aimed on demolishing Indian thinking and philosophy, and they in turn tried to shatter our glorious traditions. And now it's high time, as it is a responsibility of every Indian to rediscover India in a full vigor and glory back again. Though India has survived the longest journey of enslavement, still we have never deliberately enslaved others or captivated others' land. How proudly patriotic should we feel to have protected our motherland from such multiple invasions? But see how the Europeans invaded America and how they quickly enslaved the strong rooted Native Americans over there. The Europeans shattered the ancient rich heritage of those Native Americans. Actually, even before Columbus first discovered America, that is in 1492, there were 75 million inhabitants already in America who spoke about 2,000 different languages and they had been living there for more than 40,000 years. But by the European invasion, just by the end of 17th century, more than 50 million Native Americans perished as a result of war, as a result of enslavement, and due to the deliberate brutality of the Europeans. This invasion is the world's greatest devastation of humans on the planet. Why don't you outsiders voice this kind of forceful occupyings? Why don't you point out on how India suffered humiliation under the colonial rule for more than 2 centuries? Also, why can't you see India's positive attitude that what others had deliberately tortured and forced on us, we didn't do the same thing on them. In fact, India didn't even claim the property that was looted by British pre-independence. And it's not a small amount to simply ignore it. It is estimated to be around $45 trillion. And you people assume India to be a poor nation or still a developing nation? How dare you? For more than 2000 years, India was the most richest country in the world and USA was the most poorest country. We were not just rich economically, we were even spiritually the most diligent country. And why not? We are so even for today. For everything from teaching to economy to science to food to monumental efficacies to spiritual support too, the world around depended only on India. Our world famous ancient institutions like that, the Nalanda and the Takshashila, here more impetus was given to secular and sacred education. Every field was given importance, be it medicine, be it law, art, war, science, astronomy, Vedas and yoga. All great scholars emerged from these two noble institutions. India was once the scientific hub of the world. And about art, it's enough to see those Ajanta and Ellora caves. See, even by initiating all the modern machineries, it would have involved some 7,000 laborers working tediously over a period of 150 years to replicate the same art. Don't think that aeroplanes are a modern invention. Even the idea of Pushpaka Vimanas throws light on our ancestors' self-aptitudes. Also, the Ramasetu to Lanka, it was just built in 7 days, where a modern day bridge, it takes at least 10 years of completion with all the modern equipments. We were so self-reliant in just about everything. Our ancient astronomers like the Aryabhata, mathematicians Bhaskara, grammarians Panini, they all remain so inexplicable. And what to say about our Vedas and Upanishads, which are such a magnanimous literary fantasy of the synthesis of self-realization and God-realization. We have always let others to inherit our spiritual richness. We gave to the outer world our greatest spiritual leaders, the Buddha and the Bodhidharma, that is Buddhism and Zen to the world. And today, more than 550 million followers of Buddhism are there worldwide. India's strength is in her spiritual roots. But currently, India, of course, has her own flaws and infirmities like any other nation. She has been undergoing many internal riots and conflicts like corruptions and nepotisms. But see, dark negatives are always the pull of an evolved possibility. The deeper the roots enter into the dark hell of the earth, so does the branches rise high into the sky. Indians have all the power to rise above all their negative pulls. Our cultural, psychological, spiritual roots are very strong, and no internal or external elements can subdue us. Our land and our inner world is bountifully rich. And thank you for listening now.